All right, let's look at activity 1. That's what we're going to be doing. There's 2 slides of activity 1. We're going to be comparing this model that we see here that has all of these different scenes in it to this slide deck, which has a lot of information about what you're seeing in the model. So this is one of the ways that is really powerful to learn and to study, is to do the same thing in 2 different ways. And so what you'll notice I did is in VMware, I opened this up in PowerPoint because it was really easy, and I also opened up SketchUp. So I have them both right here so I can flip back and forth really quickly. So what I want to do is look really quickly at each scene, and I'm not going to demo the whole thing, but I'm going to give you the idea. So I see the site plan, and this is something that we've seen before. I see a graded region, and I see some stormwater pollution prevention plans, and I see over here a compacted building pad, and then some stuff on it. So somebody has started building. So let's see what they've done. I see that there's a foundation and floor system, and there it is, and that probably is part of the foundation, and that's probably part of the floor system. And it's just a conceptual representation, but it does the job. And then I have something called stem wall. And yeah, the stem wall is the part of this foundation that pokes up out of the ground. And then there's a footing, and that's the part that's under the ground that spreads out all the weight of that building so that the ground, the compacted soil, can take that load. And then there's something called anchor bolt and sill plate. There's an anchor bolt that goes into the concrete. It looks like I've got a little bit too much stuff in here that I didn't erase, but that's okay. So it goes into the concrete, and then you can bolt the sill plate onto the stem wall. And then we have these things called rim joists that are sort of up and down pieces of wood that go all the way around. Some people call that a mud plate or a mud sill. And then we have pier footings that help hold things up because the span between these might be too big. And then we have the joists and beams, which actually hold up the floor, and you and me when we walk on the floor. And then there's the subfloor. And that's the part that we'll be looking at, site through subfloor. And so once we've done that, we want to look at these slides and see if we can find stuff that matches up. Okay, so here we go. Here's the whole thing. And let's see. We start with, there's foundation and footing. So what we saw were footings and stem walls and posts and piers and anchor bolts and sill plates and rim joists and floor joists. The only thing that we didn't really pay attention to in there were joist hangers and subfloor. So I think all of these sort of have a chance to match up. So the first one are footings. So let's go back here and see if we can see something about footings. We got stem walls and we have footings. So I'll go to the footing first, and that's this thing down here. It's a big chunk of concrete, and it's wide, and it's fairly thick, and it's underground. And so my goal is to take some information from here, spreading the weight of the building evenly across the soil. So I can copy that. I can take a copy. That was just a right-click copy. And I can put one of these arrow things in. Pull it up here and Control V. And there it is. And that's a little bit hard to see. So if I click on it and go to my entity info, I've got that showing. If you need to, you can just right click and go to entity info. Probably make this like 24. And then we might have to move it a little bit. There. And remember that once we've got something in here, we kind of have to go back and take it away from what we want, what we don't have in other places. So I'm going to update, I'm going to go stem wall, and I'm going to hide that in this view. So now it's showing up here, and I might have to get rid of it elsewhere too. Like there it is. Okay, so it's in the way there. I'll hide it. It's in the way there. So there's a lot of going back and forth and hiding. Once you write something, you kind of have to hide it in all the other views so that it doesn't just make a big mishmash. And guess what? I forgot to update each of those. You have to hide it and right-click Update. Okay, and I usually remember to do that, but you won't, so I'm demonstrating. Right-click Update. And it's a lot of work, but that's SketchUp, and it's worth it. And so let's update those. There we go. So now let's go back to the stem wall. And I do have some stuff showing up down here. So I'll hide those extra ones. And I'll do my update. So that takes a lot of time, but that's what we do. And remember, it's hide. If you erase it, it goes away everywhere. So now I've got the stem wall. Okay. It's above the soil grade, and it supports the flooring and the walls. So I just need to say that's what this stem wall does. Right click, paste. Then I got to find it. It's really hard to see sometimes. There it is. And you have to make it bigger, 24. Oh, I didn't get a very good paste on there. I guess I have to come back here and get that copied better. Copy, back over to here, double click. I don't know why that's not copying that. Let's try that again. I know I can do it. There it goes. And I may have to move it. And might even have to make it a different color to be able to be seen, which you can also do. And all sorts of things that you can do to make this kind of go into shape a little bit better. Having a real hard time working with this one today. Because I can hardly see it. I just have to see. I can't even see it when I zoom in on it. There it goes. So I might have to change its color or something like that. I can go to just plain old colors or make it look just like a different color. Oh, I'm just picking the wrong thing all the time. That's why. Let's see if I can just do it right from the beginning. And let's make it some nicer color. Let's make it like yellow so that we can see it. I made that one yellow. There we go. So got it in there twice. Get rid of that one. There we go. So sometimes it gets a little bit difficult. You know, this is okay, so now we want to get rid of that one. Right click, hide. So I'm not seeing it there. I have to remember to update. Okay, so you get to see how this goes. There's some work in it, but it's not too bad. And you'll get used to it. Always remember to update. So now I have my stem wall. I have my footing. One too many here on the footing. This is the one I have to hide. Right click, update. And then save this once in a while. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to go to each one of these and find the blue part in the deck and copy and paste that in. Or you can just type it in. All right? So that's how you do the first part of activity 1. And then once you've got it done, remember to save your file. I'm going to save this as something new. Okay, and I'm going to go to my network drive. That's my computer. And this is the one I'm working on. And it does take a little while to save it. So save it fairly often. And then remember, to make your animation, it's File, Export, and Animation. And it'll just start working away, and it'll do that for you. Okay, you can just click Export, and it sends it as an MP4. Takes a little while sometimes. It's got a lot of stuff to do to make each and every one of those, so it'll take a little while. But that's how you do steps 1, 2, and 3 of activity 1. And remember, the purpose is to work between your slide deck that has tons of information in it and to take the most critical part of that information and match it up visually in your SketchUp file.